Now we have another challenge for you. Let me draw the pattern first. So here is the pattern and try to solve this pattern by yourself. This is very similar to last pattern. So you can use any of those technique. That means you can use repeat function or nesting loop as well. It totally depends on you. Pause this video and try to solve it yourself. And I hope you have solved this pattern successfully. So now let's move on to the next type of pattern. Let me draw the pattern first and then we'll solve this pattern, right? So here is the pattern. Pause this video and take a screenshot of this my 4-step formula to solve any star pattern. And this is the short form of my 4-step formula. Let me increase the font a little bit. So our first step is we need to put this pattern inside a grid and analyze this pattern, right? So I have already put this pattern inside a grid. Now let's move on to the next step, which is analyze. So did you notice one thing? In this pattern, we have to print two things. The first thing is that a star sign, and second thing is that there is a space as well in this pattern, right? So this pattern has two things. The first one is need to print a space and a star sign as well. Let me analyze in depth. So let's erase these things from here. Similar to previous one, let's suppose this is a row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4. Row 1 has 3 space and 1 star. Row 2 has 2 space and 2 star. Row 3 has 1 space and 3 star. Row 4 has 0 space and 4 star. And here the number of star sign is incrementing by 1 in each iteration. And the number of space sign is decrementing by 1 in each iteration. Let me change the pen. And this behavior is known as what? I. That means, let's suppose this is a loop number 2 because there is also a same behavior over here. Let's suppose loop number 1. And in each iteration, we have to print two things, a space and a star sign. Let's work with the second step, that is getting number from this pattern or from this behavior. So the first number is the size of this pattern, which is 4, right? So let's write size is equal to 4. And because of there are two i's or loop, so we need to write I 1, 2, 3, 4 and j is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is also a constant, that is 1. So let's write a constant as well, constant. And because we need to print this sign, so we need to use this sign as well. And now you do not need to think beyond this number to solve this pattern. Use this number, just hit and trial according to your logic and your ability. And then after practicing, after some times, you will get the actual solution of this pattern. Let's work with the third step, that is getting formula. So first I'm going to work on this space pattern, right? So how can we print this space in this pattern? So in row 1 we have 3 space. Row 2 we have 2 space. Row 3 we have 1 space. And row 4 0 space. So now this time we have to practice or apply our logic or ability to get this output by using these given numbers. So I think you are getting my point. Why not we subtract 4 minus 1, 4 minus 2, 4 minus 3 and 4 minus 4 in each iteration, and then we can easily get this output. So let me write over here, what is the value of size? That is 4. So let's write 4 minus I, that is 1, equals to 3, right? And 4 is the value of size. So let me generalize this formula as well. Size minus what? I, and that's it. We get our formula to print a space in this pattern. Size minus I, that is 2. because in the second iteration the value of I will be incremented by 1. Now the output will be 2, and this is matching as our requirements. 4 minus I, that is 3, and we'll get 1. 4 minus 4, that is 0. So this is the general formula to print a space in this pattern. Now let's work with this star pattern, right? And trust me, printing the star sign is very easy. Pause this video here and try to think it yourself, right? Now I'm going to print this star sign in this pattern. So it's so simple, because in the first iteration or in the first row there is one space. 2, 3, 4 according to the rows. Did you notice one thing? In row 1 we have 1 star, row 2 we have 2 star, row 3 has 3 star, row 4 has 4 stars, right? So why not we print the number of stars according to this I, because this is I at the end of the day, right? So why not, let's write a star dot repeat and pass I. If the value of I is 1, then it will print 1 time. If the value of I is 2, then it will print how many times? 2 times, right? And so on. Now we have created our general formula to print the space as well as a star sign. We have to work with the last step, that is apply this logic inside a code. So let's write this code inside VS Code. So first thing is that we have to define the size of the pattern, which is 4. So let's define const size is equal to 4 and need to use a loop. Let I is going to start from 1 and I is less than or equal to the value of size, that is 4. So let's write over here size, and in the each iteration the value of I will be incremented by 1. So first I'm going to print the number of spaces using repeat function. So let's write let spaces is equal to a space, and on this string going to use a repeat function. How many times it will be repeat? That is size minus I times. And the next one is let print the star. So let a star is equal to a star sign, going to use a repeat function as well. How many times? That is I times. And that's it. We just need to print these two values as a single string, CLG spaces plus a star. Let's run it, and here is the output. So now times come for the challenge. Instead of using 2 times repeat function, now you have to use 2 times for or while loop inside this outer loop, and that is your challenge. You have to print the same pattern but using 2 another nesting loops inside these outer loops, right? So pause this video and try to solve this challenge as yourself, and I hope you have successfully solved this pattern as well. If not, then please head over to the description box of this video and see the GitHub repository. So now let's move on to the next one.